The hardest goodbye you'll ever say may not be to a person. It may be to a place. A place where your children took their first steps. Where ordinary days quietly turn into memories you'll treasure forever. Where, without ever noticing it, you became the person you are today. So why does walking away from a family home feel so much like grief? Why can an empty house make even the strongest people break down? And why does this ache hit one generation harder than any other? The generation now standing at the front door of the homes they built their entire lives inside. In this video, you'll discover the hidden psychology of home, memory, and identity, and why letting go of a house can feel like losing a part of yourself. Because this story doesn't begin the day you leave the house. It begins the day you first called it home. Every family home begins the same way. An empty building, fresh paint on the walls, rooms filled with silence, nothing more than wood, glass, concrete, and possibility. Then something happens, not all at once, but so quietly that almost nobody notices. The first family dinner, the first birthday candle, tiny fingerprints on a clean window, pencil marks climbing higher on a hallway wall as children grow year after year, a dog waiting at the same front door every evening. None of it feels important while it's happening, but your brain is doing something remarkable underneath the surface. It isn't just recording these moments, it's attaching them to the walls around you. That's why an empty bedroom can still sound full. Why an old staircase can make your heart race before you've taken the first step. A house doesn't preserve furniture. It preserves versions of you. The young parents who arrived carrying cardboard boxes. The teenagers who slammed doors. The children who couldn't wait to grow up. Slowly, the house stops being a place you live in and becomes a place where your life lives. Which raises a question most people never ask. If a home slowly becomes part of your identity, what happens the day you have to leave it behind? Picture this. You haven't lived in your childhood home for 20 years. Different people sleep in what used to be your bedroom. By every logical measure, that house isn't yours anymore. And yet one afternoon, you drive past it. And without meaning to, your eyes slow down. For a few seconds, you're not the person you are today. You're 12 years old again, standing at the front door with a backpack on your shoulders. Neuroscientists have a name for what's happening here: place attachment. One of the deepest bonds a human mind is capable of forming, and one it forms almost without permission. Here's why it runs so deep. Memory isn't stored on its own. It's stitched to sound, to smell, to light, and most of all, to place. Every room becomes a chapter. Every doorway, a bookmark. That's why people don't simply remember a home. They re-enter it. One smell of old wood after rain, and an entire forgotten summer comes rushing back. But here's the part most people never realize. Your brain isn't protecting a building. It's protecting the story of who you became inside it. And that story doesn't live only in the walls. Psychologists have found something almost strange. Even after a house is sold, renovated, or torn down completely, the memories don't disappear with it. A song, a scent, a patch of afternoon light can still pull an entire lifetime back into focus, decades later, with no house left standing at all. Which means the home was never a container holding your past captive. It was closer to a key, one that knows exactly how to unlock it. And that's exactly why walking away from a family home can feel frighteningly close to losing a part of yourself. Because for a moment, it feels like you're losing the key, even though what it opened was always yours to keep. Here's the strange part. Most people believe they're saying goodbye to a house. Psychologically, that's almost never true. If you could walk back into that same home 20 years later, the walls would still be there. The staircase would still lead upstairs. The house would look exactly as familiar as you remember, but it wouldn't feel familiar. Not because the house changed, because you did. The little girl who used to race down the hallway no longer exists. The exhausted young father who carried sleeping children in from the car has become someone else entirely. That's why so many people stand in an empty living room and suddenly cry over things they hadn't thought about in decades. They're not mourning the walls. They're mourning the version of themselves those walls still remember, one that no longer has anywhere else to live. Maybe that's a quiet heartbreak underneath all of this. We spend years believing we're building a home, without ever realizing the home was quietly building us. There comes a day almost nobody sees coming. Nothing dramatic happens. No final announcement. The walls haven't moved. The photographs still hang exactly where they've always been. And yet something has disappeared. You hear it in the silence. The hallway that once echoed with running footsteps now answers with nothing. The dining table that once struggled to fit everyone now has more empty chairs than occupied ones. Because here's what nobody teaches us. Homes don't become empty overnight. They become quiet, one goodbye at a time. A child leaves for college. A daughter starts her own family. One chair stops being used. One light stays switched off for good. Psychologists call this ambiguous loss. Grief without a single moment of ending. Nothing ends all at once. It fades. So slowly, that one ordinary afternoon, you realize you're the only chapter still living inside the story. And perhaps that's why letting go hurts as deeply as it does. Not because the house became empty, but because it quietly stopped needing you, long before you were ready to leave it. Here's something worth pausing on. If you're watching this and feeling a little too personally, there's a reason. And it isn't just sentimentality. It's timing. Generation X, born between 1965 and 1980, bought their family homes mostly through the 1990s and into the early 2000s, often stretching every dollar to do it. For many, that house wasn't just a purchase. It was a one big bet, a lifetime. Bought young, paid off slowly, lived in for 20, 30 years. And now, this entire generation is arriving at the same door at once. Kids have grown and moved out. Parents are aging or already gone. Retirement isn't a distant idea anymore. For many, it's a decision being made this year, which means Gen X isn't facing this loss in scattered, isolated moments. Millions are standing at the same threshold, at roughly the same time, asking the same quiet question. Do I keep this house or do I let it go? There's a deeper layer too. Gen X grew up known as a latchkey generation, a childhood shaped by coming home to an empty house, often before anyone was there to greet them. For many, the home they later built wasn't just where they raised their kids. It was a stability their own childhood didn't always have, which means letting go of it isn't just losing a house. For some, it's losing the one steady thing they spent a lifetime building, to give their children what they didn't always have themselves. So when this generation feels this particular grief more sharply than most, it isn't nostalgia exaggerating things. It's timing, money, and memory arriving at the same door, all at once. There's a moment almost every family experiences, but almost nobody talks about it. It happens after the boxes are packed, after the truck has been loaded, after everyone else has already walked outside. One person always stays behind. They don't stay because they forgot something. They already know there's nothing left to take. They stay because they're not looking at the house anymore. They're saying goodbye to a lifetime. Slowly, they walk from room to room. One last look at the kitchen. One last hand across the dining table. One last pause beside the bedroom window. To anyone watching, it looks like they're simply checking the house. But inside, something else is happening. The brain, scientists believe, naturally tries to preserve emotionally important places with unusual clarity right before a major life transition. Almost like taking one final photograph no camera could ever capture. Then comes the smallest movement of all. A hand reaches for the doorknob. It turns. The door closes, not loudly, not dramatically, just one quiet click. And somehow, that tiny sound weighs more than every box carried out of the house. Because in that moment, you're not leaving a building. You're locking away the only place that still knew every version of who you've ever been. Maybe this is what we've misunderstood all along. We think letting go means forgetting, as if moving away somehow betrays the life we once lived. But think about the people you've loved and lost. A parent, a grandparent. Even after they're gone, you don't stop carrying them. They live on in the way you speak, the way you laugh, the advice you repeat without remembering where it came from. A family home works the same way. Its real gift was never the roof. It was the person it quietly helped you become. The patient father, the resilient mother, the curious child who never realized they were living the days they'd one day miss the most. That life doesn't end when the house is sold, because the walls were never the destination. They were only the place where your life happened to unfold. Healing begins the moment we stop asking, how do I hold on to this house? And start asking, how do I honor the life that happened inside it? So maybe letting go isn't an act of losing anything at all. Maybe it's the quiet courage to carry the love forward, without needing to carry the walls. One day, someone else will unlock the front door of the house you once called home. They'll paint the walls a different color, fill the rooms with unfamiliar voices, Celebrate birthdays you'll never see. And little by little, the house will begin another life, just as it once began one with yours. But here's the part that matters. Nothing that truly shaped you is left behind in those rooms. The laughter, the conversations, the ordinary evenings that quietly became unforgettable. They never belonged to walls. They belong to you, and they still do. So, if life is asking you to close that door, close it gently. Not because your story is ending, but because another family is about to start writing theirs. Because maybe that's what every family home was always meant to do. Not to last forever, but to quietly become the beginning of someone else's forever. Before you go, one simple question. If you could walk back into your family home just one last time, which room would you visit first, and why? I genuinely love to read your story. Leave it in the comments. Every home carries a different history, and every family leaves behind a different kind of love. If this reminded you of someone you miss, or a place that helped shape who you are, share it with someone who once called that house home with you. And if you enjoy documentaries about psychology, memory, and the quiet stories that shape our lives, subscribe. There are more journeys ahead.